Hello, my friend. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you're carrying today, I just want to say I'm glad you're here. You know, we often carry this idea that being positive is a personality type, something you're either born with or you're not. We look at people who seem perpetually upbeat and think they must have been blessed with a life free of shadows, or a heart that simply doesn't register disappointment. But I've come to understand that this isn't the truth. The positive people I truly admire, the ones whose presence feels like a quiet shelter, aren't just naturally cheerful. If you listen closely to their stories, you'll hear the echoes of hard days, profound disappointments, and long nights of doubt. They have felt the same weight we all feel. But what sets them apart isn't what they feel, it's what they choose to do with those feelings. They make a conscious, often quiet decision to return to hope. They choose to try again, not with a booming declaration, but with a soft whisper to their own heart. They do this work without fanfare, without needing anyone to notice their effort. I used to believe I was not a positive person. My mind had a default setting: if one thing went wrong, I braced for a cascade of problems. A single rude comment from a stranger could color my entire day with a gray hue. And the most limiting part of it all was my belief that this was an unchangeable part of my identity, that I was simply wired for worry. But I was wrong. So deeply wrong. Positivity is not a trait you either possess or lack. It is a skill. It is a practice. It is a decision made moment by moment. And like any skill, like learning a language, or playing an instrument, you can learn it. You can strengthen it. You can weave it into the fabric of your life, gently, one small, deliberate stitch at a time. So, if you are here learning English while also trying to navigate your own inner world, I hope our time together serves both purposes. You will get practice listening to slow, clear English, but my deeper wish is that you also receive something more, a quiet reminder that you are not a prisoner to the mood you woke up in. You are allowed to change your direction at any moment. You are the one holding the compass. What is the very first thing you think when you wake up? For so many of us, it's a groan of resistance. Oh no, I didn't sleep enough. Or, I don't want to face this day. Or sometimes, it's not even a thought, just a tired feeling, a hand automatically reaching for the phone, letting the notifications of the world set the tone for our soul. But what if that first thought truly mattered? Not because it dictates your entire destiny, but because it acts as the opening note in the day's symphony. Your mind, in those first fragile moments of consciousness, is soft and open. The defenses are down, the logic isn't fully online. It's like fresh soil, and the first seed you plant there, whether it's one of dread or one of gentleness, will influence what grows in the hours that follow. If the first message you give yourself is one of stress, criticism, or overwhelm, the day instantly feels heavier, as if you're putting on a wet coat. But if you can place just one kind, simple thought in that tender space, your mind will carry it like a small, steady candle through the dimmest of hours. This doesn't need to be a grand production. You don't need to recite a long affirmation or write a page in a journal before you've even had water. It can be as simple as thinking, I can handle what comes today, or let's just take one small step, or even, this moment is new, and I am here in it. These are not magical incantations, they are quiet anchors, giving your mind something steady to hold on to. I remember a season of my life where I would wake up with a jolt of anxiety, my heart racing before my eyes were even open. I was already braced for impact, already compiling a mental list of everything that could go wrong. And because that was my foundation, my entire day was built upon it, rushed, tense, and fragile. The change began with something almost laughably small. A single sticky note placed on my bedside table that read, "Start soft." Just 2 words. Every morning, upon opening my eyes, I would see it and whisper it to myself. Start soft. At first, it felt like just words. But over time, it created a tiny pocket of space. That space became a breath. That breath became a pause. That pause became a new beginning. Instead of launching directly into the storm of worry, I learned to greet myself with the same gentleness I would offer a friend. That one small shift altered the trajectory of my days. Maybe your mornings are difficult right now. You wake up tired, or lonely, or burdened by the weight of what's to come. You might not be able to change your circumstances this instant, but you can change how you meet the very first moment of your day. And that is a profound power. So I invite you to ask yourself gently, what do I want my first thought to be? Don't rush the answer. Just feel into the quality you wish to embody. Peace? Strength? Quiet hope? Whatever it is, find a small sentence that evokes that feeling. Write it down. Place it where your eyes will find it first. Your first thought doesn't need to be perfect or overwhelmingly joyful. It just needs to point you in a kinder direction, like a compass whispering, "Let's go this way today." Let me ask you something, with all gentleness. How many times have you said yes when every fiber of your being was whispering a quiet, but firm, no? It's okay if you've lost count. We all have. We agree to obligations out of politeness. We stay in conversations that drain our spirit. We scroll through endless digital feeds even as we feel our energy seeping away. We operate under a misunderstanding that being a positive person means being agreeable, always available, constantly open. But here is a quiet truth we must remember: being positive does not mean being available to everything and everyone. Sometimes, the most positive, life-affirming action you can take is to protect your own energy. There is a profound strength in consciously choosing what not to give your attention to. This isn't selfishness, it is wisdom. In my younger years, I equated kindness with perpetual openness. I was terrified of disappointing anyone. So I answered every message immediately, joined every social plan, and remained in uncomfortable situations long after I should have left, all in the name of being nice. But I failed to realize I was spending my inner resources as if they were infinite. I was pouring from an empty cup, and by the end of the day, there was nothing left for me, no creativity, no peace, no joy. It's no wonder I felt exhausted by simply existing. The turning point came when I started to pay closer attention. I began to notice the people who left me feeling heavier after our interactions. I identified the habits that left me feeling hollow instead of whole. I recognized the environments that dimmed my light. This awareness was the beginning of a powerful practice, learning to say no. Not with anger or resentment, but with love. Love for my time. Love for my peace. Love for the person I was trying to become. Protecting your energy doesn't always require grand, dramatic gestures. Often, it's in the small, consistent choices: muting a notification channel that breeds anxiety, choosing a quiet evening with a book over a loud party you feel obligated to attend, or even stopping a negative train of thought mid-sentence and saying, "No, I don't need to travel down this familiar, painful path again." Here is a mantra I return to often: just because something demands your attention does not mean it deserves your attention. This applies to people as well. Some individuals, whether they mean to or not, will consistently pull you into their vortex of complaint, drama, or criticism. You can love them from a distance. You can wish them well in your heart and still choose to walk away. You do not owe anyone your inner peace. But you do owe it to yourself to protect it. This is not about building impenetrable walls around your heart. It is about tending to the gate with gentle boundaries. It looks like saying, "I care about you, but I need to take care of myself right now." Or simply affirming to yourself, "This situation is not helping me grow," and that is reason enough to step back. Think of your energy as a sacred, inner garden. If you allow every passing thing to trample through it and consume its resources, nothing beautiful will have a chance to grow. But when you protect it, when you fence it with intention, water it with rest, and nourish it with what truly matters, you will begin to see beautiful things bloom: clarity, confidence, a deep and steady calm. And here is a comforting truth: the people who genuinely love and value you will respect your boundaries. They will not punish you for taking time for yourself. They will not guilt you for protecting your spirit. They will understand, because they want you to be whole. If someone becomes angry or punitive when you choose your own peace, that is not love, it is control. And you, my friend, deserve so much more than that. There is a simple, profound truth I want to share with you: gratitude has been my anchor, saving me far more often than fleeting motivation ever could. You see, motivation is like a weather pattern: it comes in storms and leaves in droughts. Some days you feel it powerfully, other days it's utterly absent. But gratitude is different. It can live inside you like a small, steady candle. It doesn't always blaze with brilliant light, but its flame is constant. And in the darkness, that constant, gentle glow is everything. When you're on a journey to cultivate a more positive mind, a common piece of advice is to just be grateful. But let's be honest, in the midst of a truly difficult time, that advice can feel like a dismissal. You're tired, you're hurting, things are falling apart, and someone tells you to look on the bright side. Inside, you might think, I know I should be grateful, but I just don't feel it right now. And that is perfectly okay. Authentic gratitude is not about forcing a feeling of joy. It is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about the conscious act of noticing one good thing, even when 100 things feel off. It is about finding one small, solid moment and holding it in your heart like a handhold on a steep climb. I recall a particularly hard season in my life. My mind was a whirlwind of worry. I woke up with anxiety and went to bed with exhaustion, constantly trying to fight all my battles at once. I felt like I was living inside a storm, being tossed by waves I couldn't control. Then, one utterly ordinary afternoon, I was walking home after a draining day. There was no grand epiphany, no sudden solution. But I remember it clearly. I looked up, and my eyes caught the sunlight filtering through the leaves of a large tree. The light was dappled and golden. And for some reason, I stopped. I just stood there and took one deep, conscious breath. That was all. One breath, one still moment. And the thought arose, unbidden, this is beautiful. And I am still here to see it. In that moment, I understood. Gratitude is not a feeling you wait for. It is a pause you actively take. It is a moment where you consciously affirm, even with all this chaos, this one thing is good. Maybe it's the warmth of your coffee cup in your hands. Maybe it's the memory of a friend's laughter. Maybe it's the simple fact that you are here, right now, learning and growing, even when it's difficult. That counts. It all counts. You don't need to manufacture a long list. Just find one true thing. Say it out loud, or whisper it to your own heart. Let it be real. I am thankful for this cool glass of water. I am grateful I have a bed to sleep in tonight. I am glad I didn't give up yesterday. These are not monumental statements, but they change you quietly, from the inside out. Because the more you train your eyes to spot these small goodnesses, the more your mind begins to seek them out automatically. And soon, you realize they were always there, surrounding you. You had just forgotten how to see. Gratitude, in this way, helps you gently rewrite the internal narrative. It shifts the story from nothing is working to some things are still holding me up. It transforms why is this happening to me into what is this teaching me. It turns I'm so far behind into look, I'm still moving. And that is enough. This shift is not loud or dramatic. It doesn't need applause. But over time, it builds a resilience in your spirit that is quiet and unshakable. And here is the beautiful ripple effect: when you practice gratitude, it changes more than just your mood, it changes your presence. You begin to move through the world with more patience, more forgiveness, more openness. You start to truly see the people around you, and they, in turn, feel seen. You become someone who reminds others of the good, not because your life is perfect, but because your heart has learned to recognize what truly matters. Let's speak honestly about those days. The days when you don't feel like yourself. You wake up under a heavy blanket of apathy or sadness. Motivation is a distant memory. Even the simple act of forming a smile on your face feels like a monumental effort. On these days, the easiest thought to have is, I can't do anything today. I'm not in the right headspace. I'll wait until I feel better. But here is one of the most liberating lessons I have ever learned: you do not have to feel good to do something good. Let that sink in for a moment. It means you don't need a reservoir of energy to take one small, forward-moving step. You don't need to be brimming with calm to offer a moment of kindness to another. You don't need to be in a peak state of positivity to make quiet, meaningful progress. In fact, some of the most impactful, kind, and courageous acts are performed on days when we feel we have absolutely nothing left to give. I've had those mornings where the weight was so palpable that the idea of achieving anything felt ludicrous. On those days, I made a pact with myself: just one thing. Just one small, manageable thing that represents a step forward, however tiny. Sometimes, that one thing was simply replying to a message from a listener. Other times, it was clearing off my desk, or recording a short voice note even when I was convinced my voice sounded flat and uninspired. And what never fails to surprise me is how that one small action can shift the entire texture of my day. Not because it solved all my problems, but because it served as a powerful reminder to myself: I still have agency. I still have a choice. We often get the equation backwards. We believe we must feel better before we can do better. But often, the secret is to do better first, and the feeling will follow, even if just a little. The action itself can be the key that unlocks the feeling. It can be anything. Making your bed. Drinking a full glass of water. Sending a thinking of you text to a friend. Speaking a thank you out loud to the empty room. These actions are not trivial. They are tiny declarations to your own brain. They say, we are not surrendering today. We are still in the arena. We are still trying. And perhaps, that is the very essence of a resilient positivity, not the forced cheer, but the quiet refusal to give up, creating a small opening for light to find its way back in. Because here is a truth we aren't often taught: your actions do not have to be a perfect mirror of your emotions. You can feel profoundly tired and still choose to speak in a gentle tone. You can feel a deep sadness and still offer a word of encouragement to someone else. You can feel low and still create something meaningful. Some of the most beautiful, comforting words you will ever speak may well come from a heart that is still in the process of mending. That is not being fake, that is being truly strong. That is your core self shining through the temporary weather of your mood. And there is another gift in choosing action on a low day: it reconnects you with who you are at your essence, beyond the fleeting feelings. Your mood will ebb and flow like the tide. But your values, your kindness, your diligence, your quiet courage, can remain steady, if you allow them to guide your hands and your words. So, the next time you wake up and the thought arrives, I don't feel good today, try gently asking a different question: what is one small thing I can do today that matters? Even the tiniest bit. Don't do it for praise or external validation. Do it simply because your heart is still strong enough to offer something real to the world. The smallest act, when done with a spirit of love, is a seed. And you never know what beautiful thing may grow from it. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment when you feel 100% positive and ready. That day may never come. Begin now. Begin where you are. Begin with something small, something honest, something gentle. That is more than enough. In fact, that is what true positivity looks like in the real world. Take a deep, slow breath with me. You have made it here. Not just to the end of this script, but through another day of your life. That in itself is a significant thing. Maybe, as you look around, you feel you are not yet where you want to be. Maybe your heart is still practicing how to remain soft and open in a world that can be so loud and harsh. But I want you to know, even in this quiet moment, something inside you is growing. It is reaching for the light. Positivity was never about being cheerful every single second. It is about the quiet, persistent act of returning to hope. Again and again. It is about choosing to look toward the light, even when shadows still linger at the edges of your thoughts. The simple fact that you are here, listening, reflecting, practicing a new language, and learning to care for the landscape of your own mind, is a testament to your strength. It is something to be genuinely proud of. You are showing up for yourself, day after day, in quiet ways that no one may ever see. And that is powerfully beautiful. So tonight, or tomorrow morning, or in any moment you find yourself slipping into doubt, please remember this: you do not have to do everything all at once. You do not have to fix your entire life today. Your only task is to find the next soft step. The next calm breath. The next kind thought. I am proud of you for being here, for trying. I hope this little corner of calm has helped you lay down a heavy burden and pick up something lighter, a bit of hope, a touch of peace, a reminder of your own resilience. You are not alone on this path. And you are already doing so much better than you think.